G'day Carbonites, welcome back to Space Engineers Survival Maybe. So first off, I want to apologize for the lack of videos, I guess. I've had a real difficult time recording this one. So you're about to see a bunch of sped up footage of me attempting to make a welding vehicle to something to help us with expanding the hangar here. That could have been dangerous. So anyway, the idea was we're going to go with a wheeled-based vehicle due to it not requiring anywhere near as much power as what a flying vehicle would, because the flying vehicle is going to have to hold a lot of weight due to all the components it's got to carry, and then it's got to hover around, and it's going to burn through our power supplies. So my idea was to make a rover that was able to drive along here and weld up the floor in front of it. But it didn't work out the way I thought it was going to. The problem I was having, the main problem, was it wasn't welding, it wasn't placing new blocks fast enough for it to be functional. It was actually quicker for me to just go through them and weld it all up by hand. So it wasn't really appealing to me. Now I asked the patrons if they wanted me to cut that out or if I should show it, even though it was several failed designs, and most of them wanted to see it anyway. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna most likely throw in some post commentary just so you can understand my thought process of what I was thinking at the time, and then we're going to come back and we're going to design something else. I've been playing around in creative mode for a while, which is why it's taken me so long to get this video done, coming up with a design that's going to work for us. So let's get into it. Alright, so this first design, I wanted the welders pointing straight out in front of it. And because I was using modded welders that have a larger range, I thought I'd be able to get away with that and have it weld up the floor as it went forward. But even the modded small grid welders didn't quite have enough range. So it didn't quite work out the way I wanted to. So I ended up scrapping it. Okay, so using what I learned in the last design, I knew I had to have the welders pointing down to be able to weld up everything without having to lower it right on the ground. So we went with a different design. Now this one looked like it was pretty good in sped up, but it actually took a long time to place those blocks. So it still wasn't right. I tried to brute force it by placing extra welders at the front. So there were 6 welders at the front. Then I ran into an issue of it being really front heavy, which meant I couldn't even get it over the gap where the blast door comes up. And yeah, I had a little bit of difficulty turning it as well because the rear wheels weren't gripping anything. So I had a lot of trouble with this one. After I finally got it over the lip and started welding, it wasn't too bad until I tried to do until I tried to expand it out sideways, and then it fell off the edge. So I scrapped that one as well. The final design I'm going to show you that I tried was a conversion between small grid to large grid using an advanced rotor. And the reason I did that is so I could use the large grid welders, which I knew would give me the extra range I needed to be able to lay them down and still weld up the floor. And it was okay, but it suffered from the same thing. It was far too front heavy to be useful. I ended up putting this piston, a couple of pistons on the front with a landing gear, and the idea was it was going to reach out across over the blast door, clamp down on the ground, and then just skull drag the vehicle over the top of that lip. And it was like, it worked, but it took a couple of goes to actually get the vehicle over that lip. And it was too clunky. I mean, if I spent a little bit of time, I probably could have got it to work, but I wasn't feeling the design, if you know what I mean. So I decided to give up on it. And there was a few other designs that I'm not even going to bother showing you because I didn't bother recording a time-lapse version of it. Okay, so to get started, we're going to have to change this blueprint that we're using. So I have created another one. Which we're going to have to adjust a little bit. Okay, that looks good. So the main difference is we have these connectors that are embedded in the runway, and I have adjusted the lights for the runway so they are now repeatable. So it means we will have to adjust these ones here, but that's fine. So basically it means I can put this one blueprint behind itself, and in fact I've got a projector set up with the blueprint loaded into it. So once this gets welded up, it projects another one and we can continue on. So trying to sort of automate the process the best I can. It's not going to be fully automated, but it should be a lot quicker. Now, having said that, it is going to take a little bit longer to get it set up, but I think it'll be worth it. There we go, that's what we're looking for. So we're going to have to connect this up. I think we'll leave the rest of the lights for now. Okay, so Let's get rid of these. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so we will have to get the connectors set up. Let's continue doing that. Okay, let's get started. All right, so we're going to put that right there. That should be close enough. Let's go up a little bit. Run this beam across. That might be right there. So this thing is going to be connected. Actually, I have to go one more. It's going to be connected directly to the base with connectors. So it'll have access to everything we have in stock. So there won't be any taking a ship back to a connector and then stocking it up with what it needs. It'll just have access to everything, which means it'll speed up the process, and we're also going to be using less power because there won't be as much downtime. Okay, that's good. So it's 11 blocks on either side. And that will line up reasonably well with the other connectors that we have in the base. Now, it's important to note that this isn't it's not an odd number wide. It's an even number. So both of these two blocks here are the center, which it'll make the design a little bit weird, but it'll be all right. Okay, conveyor. So we're going to have some curves. Junction box. We're going to have to place them that way. And then we've got this odd, well, it's even, but it's going to be weird due to it having 4 spaces in the middle. So I think what we're going to do is just fill it with these conveyor frames and call it a day. That should work. Okay, next, advanced rotors sitting on top of here. But we're going to get rid of the small rotor part and we're going to replace them with large rotor parts. Now we will need to get some power into this thing for it to work, because I'd like to bring those pistons down so they don't ever go up that high. I'd rather them sit down just a little bit lower than that. Yeah, I think that'd be good. So some temporary power. What if we just do transformer box right there? just for now, just temporary. I really like the transformer boxes because you can grind them down and get the power cells back. So they're good for a temporary power source. All right, so let's get these pistons set up. Maximum distance is going to be 0.7 and minimum distance is going to be 0.3. So that'll make sure it just sticks out above that thing. Let's increase the maximum impulse axis. 3.5 meganewtons. This thing's going to be extremely heavy, so the pistons are going to need their force increased to be able to lift it, which can result in some clang, but it'll be alright. Okay, let's reverse both of these and then bring them back. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, next. We're gonna have to go a little bit further by the looks of it, or we could change this shape here. We'll see what 0.4 looks like. Yeah, it's not bad. So these are going to be skids. This is what the contraption is going to be sitting on. So it's not going to be any wheels. And this device is not meant to be moved. Like it's built specifically to extend the hanger through the entire series. That's all it's going to do. And when we're finished with it, we'll grind it down, I guess. Okay, so we've got that. It's all set up. All right, next we've got a little bit of a challenge here. So we're going to need these rotor parts, but we're going to use the big version. It's going to take a little bit of trial and error. That was close. Look at that. Spot on. Okay, so we can jump into here. I'm not sure which one I placed first. I think it was this one. Then we'll just go attach. There we go. Beautiful. We want that to be at 0 though. Yeah. And we will lock it so it doesn't move. So this thing is purely to transition from small grid into large grid, because I want to use large grid pistons and welders and all that sort of good stuff. But I like the small ship connectors because they only take up, 2 little blocks. And yeah, so the small grid blocks are useful for the framing of it, I guess. All right, so that's all good. Let's get a junction box up here. And we'll go straight into a piston. And another one. I promise this will make a lot more sense after we get into this a little bit further. Okay, so the front half is going to be an exact replica of this, and it'll line up with these ones here, and it'll sit on here. So down the entire runway, we're going to have these connectors, and basically it's going to be a walker. So the pistons will extend out, which pushes the connectors out to this point here. They lock on. These ones disengage, and then the piston retracts, which brings in the tail end. It'll line up with this one here, lock in. These ones will unlock, and then the pistons will extend again, and it'll keep going. So it's like this crazy walker that is constantly connected to the base and can weld up our entire hangar. It's going to be pretty cool. And the good thing is it requires next to no power to run it. It's not fully automated. I will need to watch it, but it's pretty close. At least I don't need to drive it, which is a bad thing that was happening with the wheeled version. Is I had to drive it, which meant I was like falling off all the time and rolling the stupid thing. So this should be good. But like I said, it's going to take a little bit of effort to get it set up. So to do this is going to be a little bit of a challenge because we need to transition from a large grid into a small grid. So I think the best way to do it is just to start building this like we did here. But we're just going to do it at this point here, and then we'll use merge blocks to join it together. So let's get onto it. All right, now this is going to be a little bit dangerous. I wonder how that's going to go. I need to merge these two together, right? But when I was doing it in my creative mode, I didn't have it connected with the landing gear, so it was just floating here. Well, not floating, it was sitting on the connectors, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure how this is going to turn out. We'll give it a go though. How bad could it be, really? Famous last words. Okay, let's rename this. So this is going to be piston. Oh, I haven't thought of a name for this device yet. We're going to call it Megatherium. Yeah, I think that's a good name. Okay, so this is going to be the front piston. Yeah, so we'll label it like that. Okay. Minimum distance is going to be 2.2. Maximum distance is going to be 9.7. We need to increase the force of these pistons to something crazy, but for now, we're just going to leave it. Just going to leave it like this. All right, cool. Everything's renamed. Let's blow it up. All right, just very gently join and don't blow up. Okay, that's good. Let's get rid of this. Oh, Jesus. Scared the crap out of me. All right, that's good. Now, these two blocks are joined together. So we should be able to get rid of these. There we go. It's all the one grid. And get rid of that. All right, let's put the skids on. Now this one is actually going to go back quite a bit. Probably a little bit further. The reason for that is just in case some of the floor doesn't get welded up in time. At least this thing will be supported by the previous blocks. So how many blocks is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, due to all my failed attempts at the start of the video, we won't be able to make the entire thing today. I think what we're going to focus on today is just the driving mechanism, and then next episode we'll focus on actually getting it to function. So I think this is pretty much ready to go. I might weld this up real quick, and then we'll drop it down and connect it. All right, there it is. Now, obviously, we can throw some styling on this. We can like throw some armor and stuff on to style it later on. For now, we're just gonna try and get it to function. Very strange indeed. All right, let's have a look at what's going on here. So the front right advanced rotor has currently turned, even though it is on rotor lock and the upper and lower limit were set to 0. Somehow it's turned. I have a feeling this isn't going to go well for us. When I built this in creative mode, I didn't have this connected to the ground for very long. I only started the build with this landing gear, once I had built out the connectors, I actually dropped this thing down onto the connectors. And it went flawlessly. It went without a hitch. Even when I connected it up with the merge blocks and everything, we didn't jump around. Now this thing is like, I don't know, it's wound up so tight that as soon as I release this, it just explodes. So I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to get around this. Maybe if I can... What if I build a piston with a landing gear attached to the roof? So that way it's connected to the base and I can destroy this and then extend the piston out so it pushes it down and then I can lock it onto the connector. That sounds like a plan. Wait, is that actually going to fit? No, of course not. Of course that's not going to fit. Okay, new plan. Okay, so we'll extend this out with a piston. Pistons fix everything. In case you haven't noticed already. Pistons are also the cause of every problem. They're the cause of everything and they fix everything. Large steel tubes. This is totally going to work, guys. Totally going to work. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so now all we've got to do is just very slowly extend this out until it auto locks onto the ground. And then everything's going to be fine. Yep, it's totally fine. All right, stop the movement. And then we can save it. And we can just remove this. Holy shit. Okay, new plan. We need to attach this to the ground. Yep, that's good. Okay. Now we just gotta throw a landing gear on the bottom here. Just like that. Yep, this is good. This is gonna work, guys. There we go. Just lock it down there. And it's locked to there, so everything's fine. Let's run another quick save. Okay, and away we go. Oh, Jesus. I wonder if I can salvage that. That's not bad. It was only really the piston that blew up. Yeah, I think we can fix this. Yeah, that looks good. All right, get rid of this block here. Yep. So she's sitting down there like that. There's, you know, like there's a little bit of damage here, but it's not like the other one. The other one, it completely blew up this pillar and everything. Like it was a mess. This one isn't that bad. That's still connected to the base there. Yeah, this is fine. This is totally fine, guys. We've got this. Well, at least it was entertaining. Oh, I hope it was entertaining at least. All right, the moment of truth. I do need to rename these pistons again. All right, this is my last attempt, guys. Like if it doesn't work here, I'm gonna have a think about this. All right, let's start pushing it in. Come on, you can do it. Be gentle, Clang. Be gentle. Why is that not connecting? Oh, there it is. Beautiful. Okay. Okay, we've got it. Oh. All right, I'm going to finish setting this up. Yep, beautiful. Okay. So how about a little demonstration? Why is, oh, did we blow up? Oh yeah, we blew up all those pipes. All right, that's fair enough. Yeah, I will take that. That is fair enough. Yeah, I'll fix all this up, guys, before next episode. All right, let's do a demonstration. So, we need to put the other connectors in a group. Megatherium front. Beautiful. All right. And then that's everything that we need, I'm pretty sure. So now if we search for Megatherium, we'll get all our groups and everything. So we can extend our drive. Now I've purposely put them on the slowest speed I possibly can, and that's to give it as much time as it needs to weld up everything in front of it. But obviously for this demonstration, I quickly threw down some blocks, so it won't drop down. Just so we can get an idea of how it's going to work. So imagine like a whole bunch of welders on the front, where it welds up the flooring, the pipes underneath, the walls and the ceiling, all as it's extending out. And then in front of the welders, we're going to have drills. So they're going to constantly drill into the rock as we're moving. Then once that projector gets welded up, it's going to project the next segment, which the welders can take over. So yeah, this is going to be really, really cool. All right, so that's one of the pistons got as far as it could go. And the next one. Jesus, that sounded close. I'm just going to check that. Oh, good. Sounded like there was a solar tower. There she is. Because they come over with so much speed now, they can get a lot further, and the debris can actually do more damage than what I would like. Okay, so at this point here, we're fully extended, and we've got that middle section in there. So what we're going to do is swap over our connectors. So the front ones are now going to lock. Then it's going to disappear from under us. And leave a giant hole. I don't like the pistons are okay. We're gonna try one thing. Well, actually, a couple of things, and then I'm gonna give up and rebuild it. I'm gonna rebuild it the exact same way I did it in creative mode, because I didn't have any of this drama. But first thing I want to try is the pistons for the skids. I want to reduce the impulse back down to default. We lock. So I have a feeling that I doomed this machine by the way I started building it. Because I left them connected via landing gear. That's the only thing I did differently from creative mode. Also, these skids were a later addition as well. Because when I first built it, I had the connectors sitting right on top of the other connectors. And it wasn't until later on when I tried to extend the pistons that I realized that they were going to get caught on the lip there. So I came up with this skid design to lift it up. And all right, anyway. Next thing I wanted to try is unlocking the rear connectors first. Alright guys, well, I've had enough of reloading the game. I'm just going to leave it here for now. When we come back in the next episode, I would have rebuilt it and hopefully it's working the way I had it working in creative mode. But until then, I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. As always guys, don't forget to lead your targets and I'll see you next time.